Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
All right. This is your man DJ TJ. This is Friday Night Live. You are listening on WKTJ Reverence Radio. It is June the 11th, 2021. I'm kind of looking forward to this one because it's raining outside, but it is still 90 degrees. I wonder how high it is where you are. If you are new here, this is our welcome, and we want to welcome each and every one of you, near and far, new and old, to Friday Night Live with your man DJ TJ. We don't want you to be scared because you can also like and share and subscribe to this video or wherever you are. If you're on Facebook, make sure you like and follow or just share. If you're on Instagram, make sure you follow. If you're on Twitter, make sure you tweet and share, retweet, whatever. We want you to know that we welcome you, each and every one of you, to the family. Going on 4 years doing this here. We also have a magazine called Reverence Magazine. We also have a clothing line called Church Ready Clothing, who is doing fine right now because we have updated our webpage. Stay tuned for more on that at the end. But right now, this is what is in your news.
Sound right, boys.
Oh, wow. I just found this out. This is very sad news to begin our day. But everybody remembers Digital Underground. Well, the co-founder, Shock G, has died of an accidental drug and alcohol overdose. I do believe he also was the one who portrayed himself as Humpty Hump. This is shocking to me. I did not know this happened until just now.
It sound right, boy.
Man, shout out to Digital Underground all the way around, man. This is sad news, and it hit me hard because I grew up on Digital Underground. When they did the Humpty dance, man, I was in middle school. And I was in 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade when the Humpty dance came out. But it took over. You hear me? It took over. Not to mention Tupac was also on Digital Underground. They had just did a movie with Dan Aykroyd. This is devastating news to me, man. Alright, enough of that. Shout out to Shock G's family, man, and all those who love and known Shock G. My condolences to the family and his kids, if he has any, his wife, if he had one. Moving on to our next story, man. Alright, a lobster diver swallowed by a humpback whale has a whale of a tale to tell. So in other words, he was swallowed by a humpback whale and lived to tell about it. Wow. The man's name is Michael Packard. All right, nearly $1 billion has been restored to California bullet train after Biden officials reversed Trump's decision. All right, Michael Avenatti, lawyer, sentenced They seek and argue for a 6-month sentence as he has suffered a public ridicule. They told a judge on Wednesday, that they felt that 6 months behind bars would be sufficient for Michael Invernetti. Because of his public ridicule, he has suffered enough.
WKTJ Reference Radio.
That's exactly what you're listening to. You're listening to WKTJ Reference Radio with your man DJ TJ. It's on and up to our bigger and better stories. Oregon lawmakers expel Republican Representative Mike Neerman over a Capitol breach. He was expelled for disorderly behavior by a vote of 59-1 in the House. He's from Oregon. His name is Mike Neerman. Alright, New Zealand's Maori may have discovered Antarctica 1,300 years before Westerners, a study has said. Alright, Karamo Brown is in Texas. Queer Eye star Karamo Brown shares discrimination experience filming in Texas. Alright, the She-Hulk Jamila Jamil is Tatiana versus Titania, as Marvel's She-Hulk as Jamil as a villain. There's a new planet. Guess what? There is a new planet that has been discovered 90 light years away. It's called the exoplanet. And it may have water clouds, according to CBSN video on CBSNews.com. Alright, there have been 2 passengers that went on a cruise, on Celebrity Millennium Cruise, and they tested positive for the coronavirus on the way back. No one else was affected, but they have been quarantined. McDonald's has suffered a data breach impacting some customers' information in Asia. Alright, retaining Keeping Up with the Kardashians rights as family moves to Hulu. After 20 seasons, The Kardashian-Jenner family signed off on Keeping Up with the Kardashians with the move to Hulu. Alright. There's been a polio outbreak in the Philippines. The WHO and UNICEF declared in the polio outbreak in the Philippines. But 2 UN agencies have declared the end of a polio outbreak in the Philippines and praised the efforts of all involved. The Bucks beat the Nets yesterday in a Eastern Conference semifinal game 3, 86-83. Bucks over the Nets. It is tied, the series is 2-1 with the Nets leading 2-1. If you haven't heard, the Lakers have been put out. So their chances of becoming champion again are gone. I'm not a big basketball fan lately, so if you guys are into basketball, I apologize, but the NBA is not for me right now because of everything that has happened lately. And due to the pandemic, it's not really much of a season, so I don't really get excited about it, but I will probably watch the finals, no matter who's in it, which I think the Nets are going to probably make it to the finals. That's just me. Alright, James Harden Manila Heritage shoes pay homage to the Philippines basketball community. So he has some new shoes out there, y'all. Alright, the Pulitzer Prizes 2021 USA Today Network honored with 3 nods, including wins for Indy and 2 finalist citations. Robert Greene won the Pulitzer Prize for editorial writing. And the 2021 Pulitzer Prize winner includes books reckoning with Black history. Alright. Elden Ring, a collaboration between George R.R. Martin and From Software, now has a full trailer. And hey, here's hoping the game's not so far off release date means Martin is now freed up to get back to a different kind of game. Alright. So Bo Schembechler's son says Michigan coach punched him in a rage fit when he said team doctor had abused him. He said he was just 10 years old when the former University of Michigan doctor Robert Anderson abused him. Here are the shiniest reactions to Lord's Solar Power single and music video. Alright. The FDA says 60 million J&J Johnson & Johnson vaccine doses from troubled Baltimore plant must be tossed. U.S. regulators are forcing Johnson & Johnson to throw out millions of doses of its single-shot COVID-19 vaccine. Not to mention that New York City is now on board with a universal basic income, along with California, and I believe other states are jumping on board to give a universal basic income to all Americans. There's one state that has a permanent $500 a month in the works right now. As far as for a fourth stimulus check, it is not off the table due to Biden saying he's not closed-minded when it comes to a fourth stimulus check. Speaking of Biden, he did visit the G7 summit this week and is still in talks there, and he is preparing himself to speak with Russian President Vladimir Putin. In the New York City mayor race, candidates pile on Eric Adams in Dem debate spar over policing. Forest Whitaker is returning. Rogue One actor Forest Whitaker is reportedly returning to Star Wars for Andor. Andor is a Disney Plus series. Alright, Kim Jong-un calls K-pop a vicious cancer that is corrupting the young people. Alright, Sydney business owner says he plays a large-scale prank on travelers arriving at the city's airport. Brad Hearsman's Welcome to Perth sign is clearly visible from airplanes descending for a landing in Sydney.
That's good.
Astronomers find blinking giant star near heart of the Milky Way. The huge star is 25,000 light years away, dims by 97%, then slowly returns to its former brightness. Plans for $2 billion Washington menthol plant effectively ended as company terminates its lease. Aurora Borealis. How northern lights are created has now been discovered. Alright, this is news about Saoirse Ronan Foe. Alright, she's going to star alongside Lakeith Stanfield, Paul Mescal in a sci-fi film named Foe. There has been a Greyhound bus and SUV crash on an Interstate 65 in White County, Indiana, leaving 2 people dead. Exhibit ceremony marks 5th anniversary of the Pulse Massacre, where 49 victims were killed and massacred at a gay nightclub shooting in Florida, and they are being honored this week by balloons and others. Chicago PD officer is charged in January 6th attack on the Capitol. Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown said Shawiskik was relieved of his police powers. The Attorney General Merrick Garland announced his actions to protect voting rights. He said the Justice Department is examining voting laws to determine whether they discriminate or not. The DOJ watchdog will probe reported Trump-era subpoenas of Apple for Democrats' data. Some sanctions have been lifted as U.S. drops sanctions on former Iranian officials. Step is called routine. Jessica, we are alive. Excruciating Nambian on-air gaffe goes viral. China's rocket forces have been practicing launching career killer missiles in the dark during midnight strikes. Chinese troops have been practicing conducting multi-wave strikes with DF-26 ballistic missiles. Chinese officials have been punished over marathon deaths. Authorities in China have punished 27 government officials over the deaths of 21 ultra-marathon runners last month. Hong Kong films are censored for breaking national security law. Censors have been ordered by the pro-Beijing Hong Kong government to vet all films for violations. Jill Biden joins Kate Middleton at Cornwall School during their British visit. First Lady Jill Biden and Kate Middleton held an early education roundtable while visiting the Connor School. All right. Ex-Mossad chief signals Israel culpability of Iran attacks. In There will be a Hungary bill. The bill would ban promoting homosexuality to minors in Hungary. Hungary's conservative ruling party has prepared new legislation that bans showing pornographic material to minors. And the latest from the G7 summit is fun and frolics on the beach. But this is war on two fronts, as Boris Johnson joked and bumped elbows with world leaders on the beach at Carbis Bay yesterday. That seems to be all I have for you today, but like I said, there was no real talks about the forced stimulus check, but that is not off the table as they get a deal, I should say compromise, as a group of Democrats and Republicans have come to a slight agreement on the infrastructure bill, as Biden is now out the country and his talks are off the table. But according to sources, this bill will not go nowhere because of how it is to be paid for. The president does not want to pay for it how they have set it up, so it will not go anywhere according to sources. So, are you having a heat wave where you are from? Let me know in the comment section, wherever you're listening to this podcast. Are you having a heat wave right now? Because according to the weather sources, there have been a number of heat waves, complications around the country. Even in my state of Michigan, there has been 90-degree weather. And we have a little cool off right now with the rain and everything, but there will be a cool down next week. We're going to be in the 70s, but how are you dealing with it? Are you staying cool? Did you wear bright clothes this week? Have you been drinking a lot of water? As far as for COVID goes and the mask, are you wearing your mask if you have to, or you don't have to because you're fully vaccinated? Even though it's been shown that even fully vaccinated people can test positive for COVID-19. Not to mention, speaking of COVID-19, teens have a reaction of a heart inflammation because of the vaccine. There have been over 200 cases of this. Now, if you are not healthy enough to take the vaccine, please do not take the vaccine. But if you are healthy enough to take the vaccine and you're not a bit more impressed by the teens having the heart inflammation problem and reaction, please do so and save a life and save others. If you have to wear a mask inside at certain businesses, please do so until this thing is completely over with so we can get through this. I'm so sick of this COVID-19. I know a lot of you out there are as well. This is your man DJ TJ. You are listening to WKTJ Reverence Radio. It is June 11th, 2021. If you don't have yourself a Bible, get yourself a Bible. You don't have yourself a church home, make sure you get yourself a church home and do something for someone other than yourself. I'm going to call it a night. I hope to see you again next week, same time, God willing. Don't forget we have a clothing line called Church Ready Clothing. You can go to www.churchreadyclothing.com, and then we are upgrading and still upgrading as we speak. I have just added on another web page that will help me get more people to notice this web page and these clothing items. You can also catch me on Facebook, where you can also get the same items. Right now, there is a June discount of 20% on these items, so make sure you guys get yourself something to wear. I want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, near and far. And every day is Father's Day, just like every day is Mother's Day. Make sure you tell someone you love them, because it might be your last day on this earth. You may not wake up this morning, but God willing, you will. And we will see you next week, same time, same place. This is your man, DJ TJ. God bless you. God keep you. And we'll see you soon. Peace.